Instead of just doing a bunch of steel guitar licks and just showing like a whole bunch of random ideas and different kind of positions on the guitar, I thought it might be a little better to learn how to do some of these steel guitar ideas or lines and stuff. We put it in context of an actual progression or chord change. And so the chord change that I'm using on this is just kind of like a little. This first idea is kind of like a little pickup line or an intro or something like that in the key of A. It's going to start on the 5-chord E, and then it's going to move to the 1-chord A. And the chords in this progression would be A, D, and E. And what we'll do is work through a bunch of different ideas as far as steel guitar bends are concerned, and try and use them in context of that chord change so that we can see the relationship between the ideas and the harmony. So it makes more sense, I think, than just doing random steel guitar licks, just for the heck of it. But steel guitar licks are a lot of fun. You can do, once you get the hang of how to do them and what the nature of the melody and the harmonies and how they apply to the chord changes that you're playing over, the ideas just go on forever. But so what we'll do is we'll start with this little intro idea, and then we'll break it down from there. Okay, the first idea for this is in the key of A, as we've discussed already, but it starts over the 5-chord in the key of A, which is E. You might use E7 too if you wanted to. Any of those chords would be fine. If we look at the E chord, there's several different, thousands of ways to play E chords on the guitar, but if we look at some of the main ones that we're really kind of familiar with, or most people are familiar with, if we go to the 7th fret, we have this E shape here. And if we look at the top part of this chord, where my 3rd finger is, and look at the G and the B strings at the 9th fret, I'm going to play just this much of the E dyad. When I say dyad, I mean 2-note chord. But I'm going to play that much of the E chord itself. And this is actually where we're going to start kind of basing our first part of our steel guitar intro idea. What we're going to do is we're going to approach the E part at the 9th fret, which would be E and G sharp. We're going to go down a half step to the 8th fret, and we're going to go. So we're just going to slide it up a half step. Then we're going to come down and hit the B note. That's in the same fret, the 9th fret, but now it's on the 4th string. So we're going to go. And this is kind of a lot of the steel guitar ideas that are easiest to play on electric guitar utilize this kind of technique and this kind of sound. A lot of it you'll hear suspended chords, you'll hear a lot of these dyad forms and things like that, a chromatic type of chord movements and stuff, and so this is kind of that, beginning of that. So this will go, then we're going to pop back up, so we're going to go 8th fret to 9th, to the B note, then back to the E. What I'm doing there is I'm going E, and now I'm adding the, see here, I'm adding the F sharp and the A note together. Back to the B, so it's now what we're we're doing there is we're actually going up from the F sharp and A note on the G and the B strings to the G and the A sharp note. And each time we're kind of going back to this B note. That's kind of like a little, point of reference or whatever. So we're going B note, B note. Now when we slide here from the G and the A sharp, I'm going to change my fingering to the second and first finger. So if we look at the fingering so far, and it's a little tricky, but it works best for me anyway. But I'm going to go first finger obviously here, then first finger to the second and third finger, which allows me to go back and get that B note with my first finger again. And see if I slide those two fingers up, catching the G and the G sharp, or sorry, the G and the A sharp, back to B, I still have my first finger for that B note. Now right here is where I would actually switch my fingers and place second finger and first finger on the G note 12th fret and the A sharp note at the 11th fret. So that wouldn't work, so I have to go switch then. So that doesn't work very well. So that's a little tricky kind of jump. And then it slides into the E chord at the 12th fret, which you might recognize it like this, or you might recognize it this way, or just that triad shape. And it's just really the top two notes on the G and B strings. And that puts us on the 1. So, the first part of the pickup doesn't exactly start on the 1. If you look at your tablature, you can see how it starts. And then this actually would be the beginning of the progression itself, starting on the 5 chord E. So, the pickup is... If you notice I'm playing all that kind of stuff real staccato, that steel guitar stuff, a lot of it's real staccato sounding like that for pickup lines and things like that. They don't want a legato sound where everything rings together because it gets really kind of messy. And you might add like a little slap back on it or something like that, or maybe a delay or something like that to give it more of a, more depth or whatever to make it sound a little more authentic.